Hey there, it's Lara here with your weekly Witchy Wednesday astrology forecast, this time for the week of May 8th to 14th, 2019. Thanks for being here. Welcome. Sorry about my nasally voice. I have a head cold. I came back from New Orleans with this lovely head cold and feeling a bit drained and a bit frazzled. Very intense energy there. Really great experience, but need a few days to recoup. And I know I'm not the only one feeling that way. We've got this square from Venus to Pluto and Saturn and Pluto over these few days, and so that's making all of us, or many of us, anyways, feel a bit off, and can feel a bit intense and heavy, and some challenges towards our self-worth potentially even. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about that because I have a lot to say on a particular subject today. And you know, this is like take 4 of the video, and I really want to simplify because Taurus is about simplicity in many ways, and I think that the message may have more impact when I'm not trying to tell you 15 different things that are happening, and this is about a kind of a bigger picture energy. So, that being that the major focus is still in Taurus for us. So, we're riding the waves of this new moon in Taurus that just happened on Saturday, right? The 4th. And we've got a lot of energy happening in Taurus, aside from that new moon, including Uranus being there for the long haul, Mercury, the Sun, and next week, Venus as well. And we also have a lot of energy going on in Capricorn, of course. Pluto, Saturn, the South Node, and a couple of other planetary bodies as well, called centaurs, right? I won't get into the details, but just so you know. And for a time, we've got a hit of fire happening with Venus and Aries. And we've also got, obviously, Chiron there for the next 7 years. And we've got a couple of asteroids there as well. And more fire energy in the form of Jupiter in Sagittarius and also asteroid Ceres in Sagittarius. So I'm really quickly going to show you the chart. I put all these asteroids and other things on here today, which I don't normally do because I really wanted to emphasize where the energy is at, right? And the interplay here. So it looks busier than usual. Don't fret. I wanted to show you, here's Capricorn. We've got Saturn, Saturn, Pluto, South Node, and Centaurs, Chariklo and Pholus. Chariklo is Chiron's wife in mythology. Not an expert on the centaurs, but I wanted to put them on the chart because they are planetary bodies that, we're learning more and more about that do have an impact. So they're also in Capricorn right now. Then down here in Aries, the fire sign, we've got Chiron, also a centaur, and we've got asteroid Vesta. There's Venus, and who else do we have? Oh, Eris down there, right close to Venus. Then here in the Earth sign of Taurus, we've got the Sun and Mercury and Uranus and asteroid Sedna, and so you can see all this earthy, fiery energy. That's the focus here. We also have, and the fiery energy of Jupiter in Sag and Ceres in Sagittarius as well. We've also got a bit of water, of course, with the North Node there, and currently the moon, but she's moving on quickly. And we've got asteroid Juno there, and then, of course, more watery energy in the form of Neptune in Pisces, and then the full moon that will be happening in Scorpio, which I'll talk about next week. But essentially, this real earthy fire combination initially, little bit of air injected in there, and then a little bit more water will come. But I want to use an analogy to explain to you where we're kind of at and how this all feels. And this kind of just kind of downloaded to me when I was in the shower earlier today, and I thought, yeah, that's a great way to describe what's going on. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with something called Terra Pretta. I think that's how you pronounce it. Something I've recently learned more about, and it's a a human-made soil that was invented by the ancient Amazons, right? The ancient Amazonian people invented this, and we call it Terra Pretta. And it's a mixture of charcoal, fire, and organic material, earth. And it's a super soil, essentially. It is why the Amazon rainforest looks like it does today. Clear cutting aside, right? But the lushness and abundance of the Amazon rainforest is largely attributed to this man-made, human-made soil that the ancient Amazonians made. Because prior to that, this was actually very poor soil, and that's not what this area looked like at all. And so we have this mixture of nutrient dense, rich, long lasting soil from which to grow, an abundance of things to nourish us and to help us. And it's kind of good for the whole ecosystem, and gives us medicine and all these things that we need. And so this soil was made through a slash and char method, right? So burning organic material, controlled burning, taking the charcoal and mixing it with more organic material, including bits of pottery and animal bone, these kinds of things, right? So you get this earth and fire interplay. And then if you take it a step further, we have the injection of water that will, some of it we have now, we'll be having more, but we as we move into eventually Cancer season, but we've got the North Node there, we have Neptune and Pisces, we're going to have the full moon in Scorpio, as I said, right? And the water piece brings in the ability to use the earth, mix it, water and earth, make bricks, fire those bricks to make them stronger, right? And feed the fire with some oxygen. And then use that to build some solid structures and foundations amidst this lush, rich soil where we can grow all the abundant things that we, that we need to live and sustain ourselves. And so, and we know now that there were a lot more people in the Amazon than we think. And that we thought, and this is like the exploration there has only been very minimal to date, but as clear cutting happens, unfortunately some of the discoveries have happened that way. More structures are being revealed and this kind of thing. And so we know that there was a very abundant, stable civilization there for a long time. And, part of the way they sustained themselves was working with nature to create this, this innovation, this Uranian innovation, really, of this Earth, Taurus. So that's kind of the visual I'll give you, right? The story I'll tell you to apply to your own life in some way. And that's going to be specifically in the Taurus area of your chart and the Capricorn area of your chart, and how these things are playing off each other. So as all these different planets, right, personal planets move through the sign of Taurus, they're coming in contact with Uranus, which is a destabilizing force. So there are some shakeups happening for us in this area of the chart that Taurus exists, where the new moon just happened. But then these planets are moving on, and they will eventually make a trine aspect to Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn, where we've been doing this work, and it may be hard work, and it may not always be work we want to do. And sometimes it's work that's forced on us, but we've been doing a restructuring in that area of our chart. So this is going to give us eventually this opportunity to see the fruits of our labor, at least, some of them initially, to stabilize, to use all that's been going on, all those restructuring and the hard work we've been doing in Capricorn, to lend some support and some stability to the upheaval in the Taurus part of our chart, or like an interplay of those two areas, if you will. So I want to speak to each sign and let you know how this is, where this is happening for you and potentially how it could look. And I'm going to take a little bit more time to go through each of the signs. Last week was pretty quick. This week I'll take a little longer, which is why I didn't want to take so long on the intro. And it will give you, I think, some more insight, into kind of what's going on. And think of the analogy that I used, right? That Terra Pretta and the whole Amazonian rainforest thing. So we're going to take a look for each and every rising sign. We're looking at the rising sign first and foremost because it is the most accurate, the most obvious when we do a general reading. And also look at your sun sign and your moon sign because, I don't know if your sun sign, for example, if you're a Scorpio, I don't know if you're a Scorpio sun, I don't know without looking at your specific chart, which house the sun is in for you. Whereas when you look at a general chart and you look at the rising sign, you know that, for example, every person with Aries rising has Taurus in the second house. Okay, so that's how that works. And that's why it can be a little bit more obvious or accurate when we're talking about a general forecast like this. Specifically, it's always more accurate and more obvious when we look at your specific chart details, which I'm happy to do if you're interested in a reading. Link is below, right? But so rising sign first and foremost, also sun, also moon. The moon gives that element of emotions. It allows us to kind of see the emotional piece of the puzzle. So let's get into it. I don't want to run out of time. Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon. The destabilizing piece is happening for you in your first house of self, of physical vitality, physical appearance, your physical journey through this, worldly, earthy life kind of thing. And how you instinctually approach the world and how you are seen by the outside world. And then the Capricorn piece, so that grounding support, through the hard work you've been doing, can come from the 9th house of long distance travel, can even be armchair travel, foreign cultures. It can have to do with teaching and learning, U.S. student, U.S. teacher. It can have to do with your worldview and your philosophy, your general philosophy on, life, the universe, that kind of thing. And so what could this look like, right? What could a specific example be? Well, it could be, for example, you haven't been feeling, no, let's not use that example. You wear many hats. So you are a gardener, an accountant, a yoga teacher, you kind of, I don't know, many different things that you're known for and that you do. But you've been working on taking a specific yoga certification, and it's been a lot of hard work to do that, right? And so that's been the Capricorn piece. That can in turn lend you support and help you stabilize the first house area. So instead of wearing many hats, then you suddenly become known as a certified yoga instructor, of some particular ilk. That can kind of be the way it looks, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So hopefully that makes sense to you, Taurus, and you can try that on for size in many different ways, right, between the first house and the 9th house there for you, and see how that's playing out for you. Moving on to Aries. Aries. This is happening, the destabilization is happening in your second house. And so this is like upheaval in your finances, your material resources, your values, sense of value, what you value, and your self-worth, your sense of self-worth as well. And so there has been some potentially, shocks, awes, aha moments, insights, just general destabilization in that area. And then you've been doing a lot of work in the 10th house area of your chart, which is your career, your public reputation, how you are seen on the world stage, your connection to authority, how you are seen as an authority, your relationship to authority. That can be father figures as well. Those kinds of things. And so that work that you've been doing, that's been a lot of hard work, and you may have had to endure a lot, can now lend you some stability to that second house area of your resources. So what can this look like? This can look like many different scenarios I can think of, but there's been a lot of ups and downs in the money you bring in. Let's just use this as an example. For whatever reason, right? But you've been doing a lot of work to better your career, for example. And so suddenly you get recognized for that. You get a promotion. That helps the second house piece. That helps stabilize the finances for you. Makes them more steady, more reliable. So that's one way it could play out. It could play out where your self-worth has been taking a bit of a kick, and you haven't been feeling that great about yourself. But you get some public recognition for something that you've done, and that boosts your self-esteem, right? That stabilizes that sense of self-worth, for example. Just one way. Another example. So those are some things, filter that through the lens of your own life to see how this is playing out for you. And think about the analogy that I used about the Terra Pretta and the Amazon rainforest before I started speaking to each sign. So moving on to Pisces. Pisces, the destabilizing is in your third house of communications, daily communications. It could be your daily commute as well. It could be your immediate environment, it could be, which includes things like your peers, your cousins, your siblings, people in your neighborhood, like immediate environment, as I said. And your communications, that can include writing, if you're somebody that writes, for example. And then you've been doing a lot of work in the 11th house area. There's been a lot going on there, a lot of restructuring going on in terms of your connection to the group, to the collective, to friendship groups, to organizations, associations, clubs, these kinds of things, and also to your hopes and dreams for the future. And so the destabilization in the third house can get some support eventually because of all the hard work you've been doing in the 11th house. So how could this look in real life? Let's see here. Okay. Perhaps there's been some challenges among your peer group or even with siblings, right? Been some ups and downs, some shakeups happening there, and some lack of stability happening there. But because you have done a lot of work on your friendships, for example, your friendship, that can lend you support to deal with these other things, right? That are going on potentially for you. So that's one way it could look. Let's think of another example. It could be that communications have been really frenetic, or some glitches in communications have been happening. And for whatever reason, you can't get your message out. And so then the work you've been doing, maybe learning more about technology and the internet and how to spread the word on the internet, then allows you to, better communicate with people and get your message out to the wider audience. So that's another way that potentially that could play out for you. I think I'll leave it there, Pisces. And you know, again, filter that through the lens of your own life and see, you know, how this could be working for you specifically. Moving on to Aquarius. Aquarius, the destabilization is happening in the fourth house for you. So that is on the home front, you know, which meaning like home, immediate family, family of origin, your peeps, your place of living, like your actual place of living. Also your sense of emotional security and stability. So some shakeups, some upheaval, some insights, aha moments, that kind of thing going on there. And then you've been doing a lot of work, whether that be by choice or not, but a lot of work's been happening in the 12th house. So this is like, you know, you've been working on your spiritual wellness. You've been working on your connection to your spirituality. You've been working on how you spend your downtime, your alone time, your time in solitude. You've been working on some unconscious patterns and behaviors and self-sabotaging behaviors, right? And so this hard work can eventually pay off, and you know, it can lend you some support to stabilize whatever's been going on the home front. So let's give a real life example. You could, maybe there are some somebody in the home, a family member. It doesn't even have to be somebody that lives with you, but a close family member, but it could be somebody you're close to, is dealing with some mental health issues or some addictions issues, for example, okay? And this is, you know, causing it has a destabilizing effect on the household. And but you've been doing some work on your spiritual wellness, so that's allowing you to cope with this better. And you can also potentially get some support from a treatment facility or a rehab center, something like that, right? Which is also 12th house. So that is a potential way that this could play out. You know, or there's just family shenanigans going on that would normally throw you for a loop, but because you've been working on your inner world, you're better able to deal with it, plain and simple. That's potentially what could be transpiring for you here, Aquarius. So you know, take that, apply it to your own life, and see how that could be playing out for you specifically. Okay, moving on to Capricorn. Excuse me. Capricorn, this destabilization is happening in your 5th house. So your house of children, of how you have fun in life, of creativity, your creative self-expression. And so there can be some ups and downs, some upheaval, some shakeups that have transpired that are going on here for you, Capricorn. And there's been a lot of hard work going on in your 1st house, meaning your physical wellness, physical vitality, even physical appearance, how you approach the world, your instinctual approach to things, how the world perceives you. And so how can this, you know, lend support for the destabilizing that's going on in the 5th house? Let's think of an example. So potentially, Capricorn, there's been a lot going on with your kids, or kids you work with even, okay? There's been a lot of ups and downs going on there. And it takes a lot of physical stamina and energy to deal with that, right? And because you've been taking better care of yourself physically, you know, either by force or by choice, you have more energy, or you will have more, you know, stamina and energy and vitality to deal with whatever's going on with kids, for example. Another way this could look is there hasn't been a lot of fun, or the fun has been in fits and spurts for you. But because again, you've been taking better care of your physical body, that will in turn allow you to have more fun in life. It's just another way that could play out. For example, there's many different scenarios, but I'm just giving you a couple of real world examples so that you can take that and apply it to your own personal situation and get more insight that way. Okay, moving on to Sagittarius. The destabilizing impact of Uranus is happening in your 6th house, right? Taurus. And this is impacting your day-to-day, your daily routines, your health and wellness in general, and potentially even relationships, hierarchical kind of relationships, like between employee-employer, teacher-student, that kind of thing. And it may even have to do with small pets. That can be a destabilizing force as well. And so a lot of work has been going on in the 2nd house for you, right? A lot of transformation and restructuring in terms of your resources, your material possessions, your money, your values, what you value, your self-worth. All of these things are going through a restructuring. And so how can these things be playing off each other? So let's take an example of, you're really, really busy on the day-to-day. Too many tasks, right, to take care of. Too much going on the day-to-day, whether that be, let's take, day-to-day job front. Too many tasks on the day-to-day at work. But you've been working on your own self-esteem and your own self-worth, 2nd house. That then in turn allows you to put your foot down at work and say, nah, enough's enough. I'm not taking on anymore. I got enough on my plate already, so no thank you. And then that area stabilizes, right? This could be your health and wellness has been really up and down. Your routines have been up and down. And, but you've been doing a lot of work in the resources area, and that's allowed you to perhaps support now your health and wellness more, right? Those things can be connected. So that could potentially be going on for you. So I'll leave that there for you, Sag, so we can move on. But filter that through the lens of your own personal life experience, right? To get an indication of how those energies could be playing out in your own life. And of course, if you want a personal reading, reach out and we can do that. But moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, the destabilization is occurring in the 7th house for you. This has to do with your one-to-one relationships, whether that be partnerships like a marriage partner or business partnerships, any kind of sort of contractual relationship. And so there's been some upheaval, some ups and downs, some freneticness, potentially some surprises, that kind of thing, right? And you've been doing a lot of work in the 3rd house, which has to do with communications, ultimately. That's the catchphrase for the 3rd house. So messages exchanged back and forth, style of communication can have to do with writing, can have to do with your immediate environment as well, of peers and siblings, that kind of thing. So that work you've been doing there will lend some stability to the 7th house piece and help smooth that out. And so how could that look in real life, Scorpio? So this could look like your relationship with a significant other or a business partner, okay, is really up and down, really erratic, and, feeling like it's not on stable ground. But you've been working on your communication style. and how you approach the other person and the word choices and, you know, how you present what you have to say and all of that. And because of all the work you've been doing, this then allows more stability to come in the relationship, less ups and downs. So you see how that could work. So take that, Scorpio, and apply it to your own life, you know, in terms of those two houses, and see what, you know, what that potentially could mean for you personally. Moving on to Libra. Libra, we've got the destabilization happening in your 8th house of your deep psychological healing, of your shared resources, you know, so that's things like resources shared with other people, like a spouse even, or like taxes, inheritance, insurance, that kind of thing. You know, those intimate sort of connections. And then all the work you've been doing in the Capricorn area of your chart, which is the 4th house, is in the area of your home. It could be your actual place of living, but your family, your tribe, your family of origin, your roots, your emotional security and sense of stability. So that's lending some ultimate grounding and stability to that 8th house piece. And so what can this look like in real life for you? Let's think. It could be, for example, Libra, that you've been struggling with some deep psychological ups and downs, right? But you've been working on your emotional stability. 4th house. That is in turn allowing you to bring more grounding and stability to that psychological healing piece. How else could this look? Let's take a different case scenario. There's been lots of ups and downs in terms of your shared resources. So potentially, you know, a partner that you share resources with has lost a job, or maybe there's been, you know, lots of up and down, like, you know, windfalls and then big tax payouts and this kind of back and forth thing has been going on, instability there. And then, but you've been doing a lot of work on the home front and fixing up your house. And so now it's worth more. And so potentially, you know, you sell the house or you just, you know, use that collateral to get a loan to stabilize the shared resources piece. Could look like that. So those are some examples for you to chew on, Libra, and to filter through the lens of your own personal life and see how that could be playing out for you personally, right? Moving on to Virgo now. Virgo, this destabilization is happening in the 9th house for you, which has to do with travel, long distance travel, teaching, learning, you know, so you as teacher, you as student, publishing, getting your message out there to the world, your philosophy on the world and life, you know, your beliefs, these kinds of things. And a lot of work has been happening in terms of your 5th house, and restructuring has gone on there in terms of your 5th house. And so that has to do with children, you know, that are your children or children you work with, associated with. Has to do with your creative self-expression, creative projects. It has to do with how you have fun in life. And so how can these two things be playing out together? So let's see, Virgo. So, for example, you know, as a Virgo rising myself, I'm going to give you the example of my own life because that's what's running through my head right now. You know, for me, lots has been going on since Uranus moved into Taurus in my 9th house in terms of travel. Have not traveled anywhere really of significance for quite some time, and then all of a sudden all these opportunities, right, for traveling have come about, which is great, but also somewhat destabilizing because on a number of levels. It's just it's busy, schedule readjustments, just travel can be quite chaotic. But it can also be fun. The fifth house piece, right? So I've been working on bringing more fun into my life, and and so that is having this impact on the ninth house, right? Or another way I could look at that is, because our kids are getting older, lots of work has been going on there. We had the ability to leave them at home under the supervision of their trusted papa, and my husband and I were able to go on vacation, ninth house. So this is kind of how this could work. This could have to do with like creative projects and teaching and learning as well. It could have to do with something along those lines, which, I could also give you an example of that from my own life, but we're not going to belabor it. So use that, Virgo, to look through the lens of your own life and see how this energy is playing out for you specifically. Moving on to Leo. Leo, we've got the destabilization happening in the 10th house for you. And so this is on the career front, right? Not necessarily your daily tasks, your actual career. It is speaking to your public image, your public reputation and persona, how you are seen on the kind of, world stage. It has to do with authority, your relationship to authority, and your own authority even. And so, or relationship to a father figure, or a father, an actual father. So some ups and downs, upheaval, destabilization in some way, lots of changes going on in that department for you. And then you've been doing a lot of work on your daily routines. This can be health and wellness routines. This can be just the daily grind, right? Your daily routines. So there's been, this can also have to do with small pets, or it can have to do with, as I've mentioned before, relationships between people that are not necessarily on a level playing field. So students, teachers, employee, employer. Those are the two most obvious things that I think of. And so, Leo, how can this look in the real world for you? Well, potentially, Leo, you have had a lot of shakeups in your career, let's say. Ups and downs, upheaval, changes that have gone on. But because you've been working on your daily routines and getting those right and in order and more organized and more structured, and it allows you to better cope with what's going on career-wise for you. So that could be one way that this plays out for you, Leo. It could be that there are ups and downs in terms of like a father or a father figure, that maybe health is up and down or something like that in terms of a father figure. But you have been looking after your own health and wellness, so you're better able to help and support them. Or, you've worked out your own daily routines and schedules. You've done a lot of work on that, so you're better able to support that parental figure kind of thing. So those are some ways potentially, Leo, that this can work out for you, okay? But filter it through the lens of your own personal life experience, and where things are at for you, and you can kind of see how this is playing out in your own life. Moving on now to Cancer. Cancer, the destabilization is happening in your 11th house. So there's been some upheavals, some shock and awe, potentially some insights, aha moments, innovation even, with Uranus in the 11th house of friendships, of associations, clubs, organizations, that kind of thing. Your connection to the group. Also of your hopes and dreams for the future. Ups and downs could be happening there. But you've been doing a lot of work in terms of your one-to-one relationships, whether that be with business partners, with significant other, anybody that you're in one-to-one relationship with. And there's been a lot of work involved there. But because of all this work and this restructuring going on in your one-to-one relationships, that can lend some stability to the 11th house piece. So maybe there's a lot of upheaval going on in your friendship groups or with some organization or club that you're involved with. But because you've been doing a lot of work with your one-to-one relationships, say a business partner or even a significant other, that then can lend some support and some stability to what's ever going on in terms of the 11th house piece, right? The collective, the group. Or the work you've been doing on your one-to-one relationships allows more support for your hopes and dreams and allows those to stabilize more, for example. So, significant other can be supporting you with those hopes and dreams more and allowing those to kind of, be less up and down and erratic. So that's for you, Cancer. Again, chew on that, filter it through your own personal life lens and see how it could be playing out for you specifically. And then last but not least here, we've got Gemini. So Gemini, the destabilization piece is happening in the 12th house for you. And this has to do with your unconscious, with self-sabotaging behaviors, with your connection to spirit or your spiritual wellness. Has to do with how you spend time in solitude and your downtime, how you rest and recuperate, these kinds of things, right? And there's been a lot of hard work and restructuring going on in the 8th house for you. So this has to do with your intimate relationships, your connection to other people's resources, or even things like taxes, insurance, inheritance, these kinds of things. It has to do with your psychological, healing as well. And so how could this, all the work that you've been doing there lend some support to the destabilization that's going on in the 12th house and bring it sort of back down to earth, and ground it. So potentially, let's think of an example for this scenario for you, Gemini. Okay, so you have been feeling really, sorry, my hair's wonky today, really spiritually ungrounded and really, up and down kind of thing. Unconscious behaviors bubbling up and maybe, some self-sabotaging behaviors going on, ups and downs in that department. And, but you've been working on the 8th house or, and that's either by choice or by circumstance that work has happened. But work that's gone on to restructure the 8th house can now lend you some support. So, okay, you're struggling with some self-sabotaging behaviors. You need some help, some support. You have been left an inheritance, which can help you get the help that you need. That's one kind of far out there example, but it is an example of how that could play out. It could be that you're working on your deep psychological healing for yourself, 8th house, is allowing you to realize some unconscious behaviors and to just gain a better sense of spiritual wellness over time, right? Bringing some grounding there. So those are some ways that could potentially play out for you, Gemini, but filter that through the lens of your own life, right? And you'll get a better sense of how this is playing out for you. So that is all 12 signs. I'm glad I got through everybody. And next week, we're going to talk about the full moon in Scorpio, and we've got Venus and Mars and the Sun all changing signs as well. So that will be our focus for next week. Thanks so much for being here, for stopping by. Please, like the video if this was helpful to you. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And hopefully I'll see you next week, okay? Without a cold. Take good care. Bye-bye.